Welcome to Year of the Snake. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more Oz content. So it is things to be considering picking up out here for Year of the Reptile. You know, there are not a lot of reptile themes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But we're going to start off over here with worms. Now, before you're like, Robbie, I'm clicking off of your video, you said worms. Now, let me finish here for a second. This is Year of the Reptile. We're going to get another dual terminal set in probably November of this year. It is now January, which means we have some massive time to look ahead to the market out here and go, oh, hey, you know, reptile support, you know, snakes, okay, so we can go look at worms right now, and we can, you know, assume that Konami's going to follow the pattern out here, and worms will be one of the power-ups probably in the future, which is... You telling me 10 months in advance that we can find the answer out here following the patterns with this? I actually think so, everybody. I think right now, following the current pattern of dual terminal power-ups and things like that, that I think I think worms are going to be on this list of things that you are going to want to keep an eye on. Just because what it is. So that means that, you know, granted, I don't know what you can really give to worms. Worms never really, you know, had some craziness. A Link 1, I think, would fix a lot of their problems, kind of in the same category as Genix. But in terms of design, though, you know, Worm Zero was one of the coolest looking cards in the game. And all those other bad worms actually getting a chance to kind of bridge into something a little bit bigger, like a Link 1, I think would be really cool. So yes, we are going to leave worms on the pickup list of things right now. They are one of the more extreme points out here, like almost 150%, if you want my honest opinion. But if you are planning 10 months in advance for potential, yes, and I would love to see worms actually get the chance to do something. Ogdotic, oh boy. So the Mitsurugi archetype really sent this deck into action out here. And it's actually really cool because Odox were designed at a point that they were like really cool in order to be considered, you know, just like this little hodgepodge of like alien power-ups and stuff. I keep referencing aliens on here. Yes, aliens are on this list, but reptiles have always kind of been like a good, they're kind of like in the same category as insects. You know, like insects kind of bring the hive together and do all this, but reptiles kind of, in the current state that they are in the game, you have to combine them with other reptile stuff in order to make things go. You're using the best of all of the adaptability in order to make it do its thing. Because honestly, reptiles don't really have their own identity at this point. Konami kind of was really mean to reptiles and took that away. But with the Mitsurugi archetype coming out here, Odotics were really put into the spotlight out here as the little saving grace for this, because I mean, all of the packages that you're able to combine with that deck, and also the baseline that Odotics have, is actually kind of crazy. So are we leaving Odotics on this list to, you know, consider picking up? Yes, I am. We've already been through massive buyouts with this stuff. I don't know if we're gonna see reprints for it, but it would make sense for Konami out here to want to revisit more of this stuff as we're going into Year of the Snake out here, just because like the Odotic stuff just works so generically well with this stuff. And you know, Mitsurugi could very much flop. I mean, it's 150% possible that deck just does bad, but I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do. Reptilians. Now, Reptilians are kind of Reptilian and Evotile are kind of like the two original ones that I kind of feel like we remember the most. I guess it's Venom, Snake Deity stuff, but I don't think we're getting anything for Snake Deity. Reptilians, I mean, the only thing that they do is they level modify off of modifying your opponent's attack down to 0 and basically paralyzing you. It's Gorgon, just boom, you're stone. Now what do you do? And they've always been like, I think we could deal with more reptile support this year. Especially, you know, they're the other half of the generic side of things, because I mean, you get a free attack modify and suddenly you got a negate set up. Congratulations. You know, the alien or the good stuff that is essentially set up here with the reptiles, it's possible to work with. And it's the reptilian stuff is also not going to break the bank out here in terms of what's available to you, because the reptilian pool is a lot of rares and a lot of commons. You might have one or two stray cards if I recall, but like it's really nothing too crazy. So if you're out here, heading on into 2025 here, which congratulations, you made it. I think you've got a couple of little opportune pickups in the reptilian department. I mean, like, even so, like, if you really think that they're going to go do something like power up Evatiles, for example, or Venom, I mean, those are both acceptable ideas for Year of the Snake, but I don't really foresee it happening. It's just, reptilians are incredibly generic as it is, so I couldn't imagine Konami not tossing 1 to 2 new cards their way to try to strengthen them some way. So a little bit of a shame, because they never really had much of a chance to kind of engage the way that they were kind of meant to be. Aliens. Finally, I could talk about aliens out here. Planet Pollutant Virus. Yeah, that's right, everybody. That's right. That's all aliens got going for them. Yeah, okay. So one cool thing about aliens is you can also play the Primite package, because they have that old stupid level 4 out here that you can go ahead and dump on in for the sake of whatever you want to do. You can also Alien Almanite Revive. Congratulations. You got Cosmic Horror Golgar. And then you can do deck lockdown bounce shenanigans. That was as competitively viable as I have gotten in terms of thinking about the deck. Is we can loop all of the deck lockdowns that we could ever possibly want with Golgar. Well, aliens actually just lack so much stuff, man. Like, in terms of what they have done for aliens in the game, it's very, very lacking. Like, we've gotten more support for Predaplant counters than we have for alien distribution counters out here, which is so insane. That's why I think aliens are going to be a prime candidate this year with this, because, if we're going to go down the route of powering up all of these reptile decks, and the fact that Konami already showed us that we're following trends out here of the year that it is, thank you, Year of the Dragon, for just dumping everything on us near the end of the year. Yeah, I totally enjoyed that one. I think that we are going to see a lot of very cool reptile stuff this year. So do you need to rush out and get Planet Pollutant Viruses? Not necessarily, because I can't imagine Konami, they might support that. It's up in the air, but you got to be aware of what archetypes already exist to make those calls to figure out where we're going to go here in the future. So, please give me aliens, please. And then Ragnarara stuff. Honestly, this is probably the one that you don't need to worry about the most. But to be fair, the Ragnarara stuff is all incredibly generic. So when they designed the Ragnarara stuff, they were like, hey, this is the Tri-Brigade of the era. We're gonna give you all generic cards, but all these cards can kind of overlap with each other, and they're gonna tend to find themselves in a place to work. And that was a really cool concept. I liked that we had, what was it, was it technically Tri-Brigade 3? Tri-Brigade, yeah, well, whatever, I don't care. In terms of the Ragnarara stuff, though, if you think that, we're going to have more of like a toolbox of reptiles kind of working in the same category as insects, then I would want to pick up the stuff for this. Also depends on, how much reprint value equity Konami's going to want to push through with this to try to decide, hey, do we need to lower this down? What's our distribution of this stuff? Yeah. Honestly, the Ragnarara stuff was a really cool power-up. I don't, once again, with the state of reptiles, it's not all that great. I am almost undoubtedly sure at this point that worms are on the list for the future, and aliens are technically, they might not look like being a fan favorite archetype, but gosh darn it, aliens were one of my favorite little screw around engines in this game. They always had so many cool tools, and like, Konami, you need to find a way for us to access those tools, because they have creativity, all right? And I mean that. Aliens are awesome. So please, I sound like a conspiracy theorist now. Like, what was it? Roswell and aliens out here. Konami and aliens. They're keeping the planet pollutant virus from us. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.